All right, welcome to another episode of the Experience Better video podcast series. I'm Josh Beekler, PT.
My name's Adam Lees, physical therapist.
So the Husker game, we came out with a win.
Barely.
Yeah, dinged up a little bit, and thought we'd do some irresponsible speculation on what happened to our quarterback, Adrian Martinez. So
that sounds good.
So when you watch the play, it sure looks like certainly his knee, tweaked his knee a little bit.
Yep.
He seemed to be what we would go in. His knee seemed to be traveling like in what we would call a valgus force. So the inside of his knee was kind of diving inside. So our again, our irresponsible speculation here would be, a potential MCL, kind of medial knee structure type injury. So
absolutely.
So could you kind of show us on the model here, kind of what those medial structures look like?
Sure. You betcha. So we have a knee. So this would be someone's right knee because you got the outside it's your fibula on the outside here. And so the MCL is just the ligament that goes along the inside of the knee here. And so like Josh was just saying, so that there's a valgus collapse, which actually means that there's like an opening of the joint line and a stress right on the MCL, or right on the inside of the knee. And so what he was doing is like a third down play. He had his foot planted, he was going to lunge. I think it was his right knee, but I could be wrong. And anyway, he was lunging forward and kind of just like went down, and you could see him winch right away. And so, and then on the sidelines, he was trying to do some drills and trying to do some cutting. So straightforward running probably it'd be sore, but wouldn't be as painful as when he tries to plant and cut, because that's when you got to try to protect that knee, because you are going into a little bit of a valgus force whenever you go to cut.
Yeah, but anytime you're going side to side, you got to have that stability of your knee, and so. So anybody who had like an MCL injury, generally they're going to be a little bit limited with their ability to jump, especially off one leg, cut, pivot side to side. So we might be seeing a little bit more of a pocket presence this coming week. So.
Yeah. Hopefully he's able to play. I don't know. In the interview after the game, it said that it was not too serious, but obviously Scott Frost doesn't give us any updates or tell people what's going on. But Minnesota game coming up this weekend, so hopefully he's good to go.
So back to the MCL injury. So what would the rehab for an MCL injury? What would we really focus on?
Yep, and so a lot of it is you're trying to protect that MCL, and so you're trying to avoid things that are causing a lot of stress to it. And so you can try some anti-inflammatory modalities if so there's different grading system. There's like a grade 1 sprain of the MCL, which would be just like a little bit of a tweak, or there's just like a little bit of inflammation, tearing less than 10% of the muscle fibers. Grade 2 would be you're tearing up to 50% of the muscle fiber, not the muscle fibers, but the ligament. And then grade 3, it's completely torn. So hopefully it's not that. Good thing about the MCL is it typically heals a little bit faster. It's very, very rarely do you have to have surgery on it. It adheres down with scar tissue, and just like where the ligament is itself, it's got decent vascularity or decent blood flow, and so typically it can heal. But you're probably trying to do a lot of anti-inflammatory modalities, try to calm it down. Like I said, trying to preserve or protect it as much as you can. And then you just make sure that there's with swelling, usually that inhibits muscle firing, and so you're trying to get that quad strength back, trying to get the hamstring, probably working a little bit on balance and proprioception, just to make sure that his knee is safe to go back and play, this weekend.
And I think that's another important piece of this is the balance and the proprioception that you mentioned, and that kind of comes more from your hip and really your ankle,
hip and ankle.
And really making sure that when he goes to pivot, plant, whatever, in the future, he has good control and good solid foundation to do that on. So.
Because if you have bad proprioception, or it's not quite as good as it once was, then you're having a lot of difficulties with other structures and potentially setting yourself up for like an ankle injury or a further knee injury, which hopefully isn't the case. But I guess time will tell.
Very good. So Minnesota coming up. We got we're on the road against an undefeated team, but an undefeated team that's won all their games really close. So
I think they beat Illinois this past weekend by like 14 or something. That was their biggest win.
So any predictions or thoughts on the game coming up?
I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. The predicted forecast is like a high of 35 and snow, so it might be ugly.
Could be.
So hopefully we can stop the run and score a couple touchdowns. I'll go 17-10. Nebraska.
Yeah, I like it because I'm thinking this is the week we get back on track. We're kind of down a little bit, but we got some athletes. We got some horses in the barn who can really take off, and I'm hoping this is a week they all get to showcase and step up, and I think we win by 2 touchdowns.
I hope so. I hope you're right.
I tend to not to be the most optimistic Husker fan, but I don't know. I think this is a good
feeling.
matchup for us. So.
Yep. Yeah. Then the bye week next week. Hopefully,
That's
you
right.
guys can get healed up.
Get healed up and get our kickers back. For goodness sake.
Oh my gosh.
I hate to say we're right, but man, we talked about hip flexor injuries how long ago, and how nagging they can be.
Weeks ago.
And I think this continues to be.
Here we are,
an
6
issue.
weeks into the season, and still not healed.
Right. So
hopefully it gets better soon.
That's right. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you again next week.